Alan, we were talking about one of the CCA principles, one of actually Dan Nicholson's wealth commandments,
Yep.
which is we want to be able to differentiate between preference and binary. What does that mean?
Well, first off, I just want to make sure that people remember that Steve Trang called Dan a wealth wizard, and I'd like that to get more used. So I'm going to call you Dan the Wealth Wizard Nicholson.
He's also the chief whale officer.
That's true. He's also
self-titled as the chief whale officer, but he's definitely qualified. So
it took me a lot of time to it took me some time to actually connect in my head what this is saying and how I behave. So I don't know if that's like a head-heart connection, but really the preference versus binary, it's really just about not everything is a yes, no, not everything's right and wrong. There are just things that you do because you like to, right? That you could do it a million ways and you decide to do it one way, right? I just got my hair cut. So I could have cut my hair a million ways. There's no right way to have my hair cut. This is just what I chose. So that is it. When you hear it, it's yeah, duh. Of course there are certain things, but then when you really think about, oh my gosh, so much of my investing, so much of my choices, so much of my conversations with my spouse, all of those things, so much of them, I'm casing them they're right and wrong. If someone doesn't want to do it the way I want to do it, somehow they're wrong. And 99.99% of the time, that's just a choice. It has nothing to do with right and wrong. I think that's what it is. It's being able to say oh, is this investment right for me? Well, it's not right or wrong. Do you want to choose this way? I mean, you could do it a million ways. So that takes some time to really get into your chest as far as oh, right. I think though, what I found is, man, life is a lot easier when you start to realize that it's really just about choices and not about right and wrong. So I mean, you could get shady about it and be well, that was a choice, but but for the most part, it really is a lot easier because you're not trying to be right about everything.
Right.
You're it's that whole right versus or valid versus useful. Sometimes people are just making a choice. It doesn't mean anything, so that's how I interpret it.
So where do new investors in the real estate space make this mistake of asking preference-based questions as if they were binary?
Well, I think it's questions I hear this all the time, what's the best thing I can do to make the most money right now? There's one right answer. And I think you've said this, but it's if you can go to Google and get one solid answer, then it's a binary question. If you go to Google and type that in, you're not going to get an answer because it's not something that someone can say, this is exactly what's right for you. But as humans, we just want someone to tell us what to do. And then we can blame them if it doesn't work, instead of saying, I made this choice and it didn't work out and I'm responsible for that. So I think that it's anything that's well, where should I start? Should I start with A, B, C, D, E? Well, I don't know. Let's
Alan, what's the best marketing channel for me?
Exactly.
To go
yeah. How do I get a seller right now? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we see this all the time, even seasoned investors making that very preference-based question. I think a lot of it about cold calling, direct mail, PPC. When you get into this business, it's just there's so many options to consider. And so what do? We go and we ask hey, what's the best one? But when you ask that person that question, do they know your preferences? Do they know your skill sets? Are you a killer on the phone, or are you very shy? You've never cold called before. If that's the case, you might not want to pick up the phone and cold call, or maybe you go a different route to start, or maybe your market is a Midwest market and it's a better fit for X, and maybe you're in a larger city and it's a better fit for Y. These are not right or wrong answers, but we want right or wrong answers because we want someone else to make our decisions for us, because why?
Absolutely.
We want to have someone to blame, right? We want to be able to abdicate responsibility for our decisions because it's just easier that way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
How about, where do we violate this in crypto?
What coin should I buy? That's what everybody wants to know, right? What coin should I buy? What coin should I buy?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I mean, but that's at the core of it, because it's again, give me a shortcut that somehow means I don't have to do the work. It's getting free dopamine, right? Just tell me what to do and I'll go do it and feel really good about that choice until I don't.
Right.
versus like, I'm going to research this and actually figure out what makes sense for me.
Yeah. And it comes back to the case framework, right?
Mhm.
Just tell me what I can do so I can skip the work I don't want to do, which is to compile and analyze all the information so I can build a strategy and then go execute on it. It's like, well, we even said it, they don't even start with strategize. It's just execute. Like, just tell me what to do so I can go execute. Yeah, this is just what we do as humans, and this is very normal. But if we're going to be strong investors, we have to recognize when we're asking preference-based questions as if there's a right or wrong answer. And it comes back to, we got to stop seeking consensus, right? We've got to just stop asking people to tell us what they think. When in most cases, when you ask someone that doesn't understand your preferences, at best, they're going to give you a generalized answer that's like broad-based. So if you're trying to do anything extraordinary, be careful asking preference-based questions as if they're binary, 100%. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. We are talking about this type of stuff inside of our Certainty series all over blockchainwhales.com. If you guys want to find more, go check us out on blockchainwhales.com, and you can read